Give me a little intro there, Gomer.
There's no turning back now.
Let's put on the show.
You're listening to episode 108 of the Station 71 podcast. My name is Mario, and this week I'm joined by my co-hosts,
Beth
and Brian.
So, we are going to try and attempt to breeze through the rest of this World Showcase tour, taking a very, very quick dive into the news as per usual. So, let's jump right into it and hopefully get through this quick. Looks like the first thing we have on here is that Epcot's International Festival of the Arts workshops have been moved to World Showplace Event Pavilion due to the Epcot experience. We kind of knew this was coming just because the Odyssey Pavilion used to house a lot of this stuff. We just didn't quite know where it was going, but it looks like we have some details that this will be moving to World Showplace. And we've got information. It looks like it's going to be Saturday and Sundays, 10 a.m. to 11:15 a.m., $45 per guest plus tax, and all of the usual call 407 WDW Fest to reserve your spot. Yeah, it's exciting. Festival of the Arts is like best time for Epcot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I gotta say though, I think part of me will always be a little sad that the actual like festival pavilion is gone, you know? Because it's becoming the play pavilion, right?
Well, that was, you seriously just hurt people that were alive for Wonders of Life right there.
Well, yeah, I mean, I know it was stuff before it was the festival pavilion, but that was kind of before my time, so I guess that's what I associate it with.
That's fair. But yes, that's where the play pavilion is going to be now.
But I'm glad that they're at least going to keep doing the workshops without, with the new spot or whatever.
Yeah.
So next up we have that a new Cirque du Soleil show that we kind of also knew was coming is going to officially be named Drawn to Life. It will be premiering in the old Cirque du Soleil Theater. We heard about this at D23 very briefly, but yeah, now there's a name for it.
Have any of you guys
I'm excited about this.
Cirque du Soleil?
I've seen the older version.
The older one that was at Disney?
Yes, the one that was at Disney.
Was it La Nuba? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, La Nuba was the one that was there before. I saw that one. It was cool. I mean, it's honestly, if you've seen any kind of Cirque du Soleil, like it's pretty much that. And you can find a lot of them. Like they used to play some of them on like Comcast channels.
Yeah, I've seen 2 Cirque du Soleil shows, I never saw La Nuba. The ones I saw were touring, called Kidam, and then Alegria was the other one. They were both really, really good. And this storyline, the new show, The Drawn to Life, says it follows the story of Julie, a courageous and determined girl who discovers an unexpected gift left by her late father, an unfinished animation piece. And basically, she's going to go through an inspiring quest to finish the animation, is what it seems like. And this is very on par with other Cirque du Soleil storylines, so I'm super excited about it.
I really love the storyline that they've laid out for us so far, and I also think that this is very like fitting of the Disney brand right now. Like if they can use their properties to make this a unique experience, I'm all in for that.
Yeah, it sounds like it's going to be pretty seamlessly incorporated, so that's awesome.
And then the last thing that we have on here for news this week is that the X-Wing drones we talked about a couple weeks ago are being packed up and moved to Disneyland. after the limited use for the Rise of the Resistance opening media event. Kind of didn't think that these were going to last very long, and looks like they're not. They're headed over to Disneyland.
Kind of disappointed.
But are they going to come back?
I don't know. I don't understand.
That seems like a lot of money to spend on a, little stint here, like I'm actually at Disney World right now, here in Orlando, and then you send it over to the West Coast for a while, and then you just, dismantle them, and it's like total trash that you spent a bunch of money on?
Thank you. What? That is exactly what I was thinking. Like, it doesn't make sense to me that they've built these things, they made them, like, they probably didn't cost them, or they weren't cheap to make. Like,
no way.
I don't understand why Disney does things like this just for media events. But
yeah,
I mean, we're not media, so we don't know. We're not on that.
Hey, we're technically media. We're just not up there yet.
Yeah, that's true.
We're just not the ones that get invited to media events.
Yeah. I definitely would probably be whistling a different tune if I got to see them in person. But I do think that it is kind of weird that they build them and then they don't do anything with them. Like, they do stuff with them, but not permanent stuff. It's just so bizarre.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So last thing that we have to talk on here about is an idea that we kind of talked about very briefly on the show before. We're going to be launching this Disney Plus Watch Club thing. We very, very briefly talked about this. It's going to be kind of like a bi-weekly movie club. We're going to pick a movie to watch and then come back and talk about it in like 2 weeks. We decided 2 movies a month is probably the best to do. First one we're starting with is The Country Bears, thanks to the lovely people in our Discord. So if you want to watch The Country Bears with us, join our Discord at bit.ly/S71chat. Come talk to us, and then when we get close to that second week, I'm going to put up a poll to see when everybody wants to get together. We're all going to jump into like a voice chat kind of thing, and we'll talk about the movie. Like the host will talk about the movie. We'll have a live chat for everyone else to type in and tell us their thoughts, and maybe we'll get some of you guys to come in and, say what you feel about the movie if you think anything great. But we'll recap the movie. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it a little bit more in detail. And if you aren't on our Discord, you want to get in on this, I'm going to be posting the recap recordings to our Patreon. So again, you can find the recaps on there. Just a little something extra if you want to do that. But if you want to join in on the conversation, join our Discord. That's the best place to talk about this with us. So yeah, I'm really excited. I haven't had a chance to sit down and watch Country Bears yet, and I've been kind of avoiding it. All of you lovely folks have now decided that I have to watch it, and
I cannot believe y'all are going to make me watch that movie again.
I know. This will be my second time.
It was hard enough to watch it once.
Yes. Oh.
I mean, people were throwing around the Haunted Mansion, and there's a lot of stuff in there right now. I'm kind of wondering where you're going to take us on this second movie, because quite frankly, I'm kind of scared.
Please give us a second movie that's good. If we're starting off with Country Bears, please do a good one the second time around.
Right, we gotta like even the scales here a little bit.
Part of me is like, this is a great idea, and I love it because it's gonna get more people involved with our show. But at the same time, I'm like, this was a bad idea because people can now torture us if they really want to. Okay.
It's okay. I have lots of thoughts on it, so it'll be interesting.
Yes, I mean, I'm surprisingly excited to watch this movie. I shouldn't be, but I am.
It's like, have you guys ever seen The Room?
Yes.
It's like that, but the Disney version.
Oh, God.
Not Room, the one that came out recently. Like
the Tommy Wiseau film.
Yes, exactly. It's that, but Disney, in my opinion. It's like, it's so bad, it's like laughable. It's like entertaining because it's so awful.
Well, we'll have to save our discussion for the movie club discussion. So, again, like I said, best place to find this, join our Discord. We have a channel specifically for this. So when it comes time to talk about the movie, we can talk about it there. And then you can also vote on the next month movie, or the next movie that we watch in this period of time. And yeah, tell us what you think about what we've decided. So, that said, you guys ready to dive into our topic this week?
Yeah.
Yep. Let's knock it out.
Oh, gosh. We are really going to try to push through the rest of this discussion, and I don't know how it's going to take, or how long it's going to take. But really quick, I have to cough. Can somebody start us off in Morocco?
All right. Well, I heard Brian take a breath, so I'll let him do it.
All right, Morocco. I don't know. So, Beth, what are your feelings about this? Because I think this is one of my favorite pavilions to just kind of like go around and explore.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the more beautiful pavilions in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a nice kind of in between spot. Like it's like pretty much in the middle. So it's a nice place to stop once you're pretty decent way around the World Showcase.
Mm-hmm. And I think
so go ahead.
I think it has one of the most unique, I don't know, kind of feels, it's with the architecture style, like it has its very own like distinct smell when you go through it. And I don't know, the other ones are good. I love so many of the other pavilions, but something about Morocco, it really feels like you're kind of just like plopped into the middle of this like small, like bizarre, yeah,
kind
that's
of area,
right. And it's I think that's what's so good about it, is that it's not just like here's the thing, it's like as you walk through it really does feel like you're having to kind of like weave your way through this real life place, and it's not just everything thrown out in front of you.
Yeah, I definitely like that about this pavilion as well.
That's like my favorite thing about this pavilion, is that the back half of it is just so fun to walk through, and just like that little section of the bazaar where the shops kind of break for a second and then go into the other shops. The fact that they have that just makes it so cool, because you could go in one side and then walk out the other side and be in like a completely different store.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, I've never been to Morocco, but it to me feels like one of the more authentic versions of the pavilions.
Well, interesting fact, that's probably because Morocco was the only pavilion that was actually funded by the by the actual government. And the king at the time wanted to make sure that the detail of his culture was correct, so he sent over a team to guarantee that it was done properly. So even today, this pavilion has people that come in and like go in and make sure that everything's authentic and like completely right about it, because they want it to be as accurate as possible.
That's really cool.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, I found that when I was looking at my fun facts. So nice little segue there. Thank you, Beth. I do really think that this is one of the more beautiful World Showcase pavilions. Not to knock the other ones, but this is like my favorite. So yeah, let's talk about some of the stuff that's in here. First thing on our list that we have is the Restaurant Marrakesh, which is the table service in this location.
Have you guys ever eaten there?
I have not.
I haven't either, but it's definitely on my list.
I feel like I'm saying that about every restaurant in Epcot now that we're doing this tour. I'm like, I really have to eat there at some point. But let's pull up the menu while we're here, because I've heard a lot of good things about this. Oh, okay. It looks very fancy. I don't know if it is, but it looks like it does. It is.
I really like Middle Eastern food, so I have a feeling that I would enjoy it.
What is Middle Eastern food? I don't like.
To me, it's like very not necessarily spicy in a like hot sense, but like they use a lot of spices, and I really appreciate that, because it's nice to have something that's like super flavorful. Like I really like curry a lot, because it doesn't have to be spicy. Even when it is, it's good too. But even when it's not, it's just like they have like different types of curry, and each one has like a distinct flavor. And they just, I don't know, they make really good use of different kinds of spices, and I appreciate that a lot.
They have a thing on here called Taste of Morocco. It's a 3-course meal for one person, and I'm sitting here, like, wishing I was there now. This is horrible.
I'm looking through these pictures.
Starts with a taste,
and I didn't eat before we started recording, and I'm regretting that now.
That was the worst choice, Brian. Oh gosh.
Are we looking at lunch or dinner?
I'm looking at the overview right here, which is probably even worse because I think it's just like the best things that they have.
Oh no, so you're going to be starving by the time we're done.
Oh yeah.
I feel like Middle Eastern food is also very carb heavy, and I love me some carbs.
The good stuff.
Breads and like lentils and stuff.
Has anyone done the Tangerine Cafe in here either?
I have, yes.
I do think I have eaten there, yeah.
Tell us your thoughts, because I don't think I've ever actually eaten in Morocco at all.
I like Tangerine Cafe a lot.
This place, yeah, they have one of the Moroccan pavilion in general has one of the best spots for a vegetarian or vegan to eat, because they have a lot of stuff that can be made vegetarian if it's not already, but they also have several things on the menu that are vegetarian as is. Like, I know they have like falafel and they have like a platter that has like hummus and falafel and tabbouleh on it, which is a weird and delicious thing that's hard to explain. It's like grains with mint and what else? It's like tomatoes and onions. I have no idea why how to explain it, because it sounds really gross, but it's actually really good. It's very refreshing.
That actually doesn't sound bad at all.
But yeah, so their vegetarian options are awesome. So I'm a fan for that reason.
Nice. I really don't think I've ever eaten here, which is sad. Looking at the menus now, I'm like, I definitely should do that sometime.
Also, usually make a habit of stopping at whatever festival's kiosk is going on at the time, because they usually have some really good stuff.
Oh yeah.
At Food and Wine, they have hummus fries, and they are really good. It's like, I don't know, basically like fried, I don't know, like falafel and hummus, and it's got this like spicy sauce on it. It's really good. And I did eat before we recorded, so it's kind of crazy that I'm now getting hungry again.
Now, breezing on to the next restaurant, you've done Spice Road Table before, right, Beth? At least the bar.
I do the bar pretty much every time. I've never eaten at the restaurant.
I know you've mentioned like getting drinks here, so I was just curious if like this is something you've actually eaten at, or if it was just drinks. So good to know. How are the drinks? Obviously good if you're stopping there all the time.
Oh yes, the bartenders here are the best. They're like super nice, and they are very heavy-handed, so you get your money's worth for your pour. They have a lot of good, really good specialty drinks that are very strong but don't taste very strong, which is my favorite kind of drink. But yeah, and also, I don't know if this is like an everywhere thing, but I know specifically at Spice Road Table, you can make whatever drink you get a double for like $1 or $2 more. So it's also a nice little value there. I would not recommend getting just like a double shot of vodka though, because I've done that once or twice and it's pretty miserable.
Even
though it's really cheap.
These specialty drinks they have sound really, really good.
There's one, I think it's called the Mediterranean Journey, that's really good. It's like Midori and pineapple and something else, I think.
It says Cointreau, I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. Peach vodka and orange juice with grenadine.
Oh no, I'm thinking of the other drink. There's one that's got Midori in it.
Oh, the Tangiers
Breeze. Yes. But I've had both of them, and they are both really good.
I'll have to give this a shot.
So
yeah. Plus, it's really nice that you can just like, it's like a full service bar that you can just walk up to, and the wait, there's usually not much of a line, if any at all. So it's a nice quick in and out, get a drink kind of situation.
I've heard good things about the restaurant too. I mean, obviously haven't eaten there, and I know you just said you haven't either, but I've heard a lot of really good things about the food here.
I've heard that also the obviously there's, I don't know how it is for Epcot Forever or whatever, but I heard that there, if you got there at a decent time and got like a spot on the water, that it was a pretty good place to watch illuminations as well. So I would imagine that it's the same for Epcot Forever.
Yeah, I would hope. I'm going to go a little bit off topic here because I know we're talking about restaurants, but here's my weird find for the week when talking about the World Showcase. Apparently the Morocco Pavilion is the only pavilion that has its own website that is owned and hosted by the people that run the Morocco Pavilion. So MoroccoPavilion.com, everybody.
Really?
Yes, I just stumbled upon that while I was looking for the menu.
I'm going to look at it.
Same.
I feel like I'm the one that takes us on these horrible detours, so I apologize for this one.
It's weird. If you just type in Morocco Pavilion Epcot, it comes up before the official like Disney website.
Morocco's got their SEO on pat.
Wow. Also, get henna outside of it. It's really fun.
Oh, yeah.
Outside of Spicer Table. I did that once, and it was awesome. And it lasted forever. It's a little fun souvenir to take home with you.
Yeah. I think this one's really hard to talk about in terms of like atmosphere, because I think that's what most of this pavilion is. So I feel like we might be like shortchanging it a little bit in terms of how we've talked with the other pavilions, but this one is definitely like very much an atmospheric pavilion and not so much like there's a ton to do.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
There's also the Aladdin and Jasmine meet and greet in this pavilion as well, if you want to meet them in World Showcase. I feel like this one is the one that I always see that has a very long line for like World Showcase meet and greets.
I don't even know if I've ever really seen where they meet and greet at.
I've seen where they meet and greet, but I don't know if I've ever actually seen them at the spot. It's like back in one of the shops, right?
Yeah. It's like it's actually in there, but the line comes out of the building. Like it's in a building, but the line comes out through like a door in that pavilion. The interesting fact that we have in here is that Morocco is the only country that didn't light up during illuminations because Morocco has a high Muslim population, and the main tower of the building in the Morocco Pavilion is a replica of a prayer tower. So lighting up the prayer tower at night would be against Muslim beliefs. So interesting little tidbit.
It's cool that they kept the tradition there, and respected that. That's cool.
I think the one thing that I've come out of this really liking is how authentic Morocco is to where it's like how much work they put in to actually keeping it that way, which I know we didn't really talk about because it's impossible to talk about visuals on an audio medium, but yeah, supposedly it's very authentic.
I also have one more fun fact to add that I forgot that is actually kind of relevant to the one that you had. So, they have all these really detailed mosaics in the pavilion, and one of the cornerstones of the mosaics is that every piece has to be flawed in some small way because their belief is that only Allah can make something perfect. So I think that's really cool as well. Again, adding to the authenticity.
That's pretty awesome, actually. I did not know that. So that will move us right into France, which I guess we didn't really talk about this before. This is I want to start with this because I have a reason for saying this. This is where the cutoff for like technically World Showcase hours begins, because you can get into France, like everything after France, or I guess from here France out, before the technical World Showcase hours.
This is interesting to me, and I, now with, like Frozen Ever After being there and everything, I don't understand why they don't just open it with the park.
Well, so here's my thinking, and I don't know how accurate this is. It's probably something to do with like operation costs, because everything from here on out doesn't have a technical ride in it, which like Mexico onward, and like you said, Frozen Ever After has a couple things that have like moving pieces in it, so it's probably less to staff.
Yeah, but then all people are doing is spending money. You'd think they want that.
Hold on. Just stop right there. All people are doing is spending money.
Like if they're not on a ride, they're in a store or at a restaurant or getting a drink.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Sounds like I know business better than Disney.
Whenever we do Epcot and we do like an early Epcot day, we always go in here in France for breakfast and hit the little bakery in the back. That's like my favorite spot. Stop, you get something like quick. There's a lot of snack credit options on their menu back that way too. So fun little tip if you're on the dining plan.
You can also get an entire baguette for $3.
Yes.
We do that pretty much every time, and we'll eat like part of it, and then we'll stuff the rest in our backpack and eat it throughout the day.
Have you ever gotten the sandwiches from here too? Because they're really good. They do.
I don't know if I've had like a proper sandwich, but I've had some of the like savory, like tart type of thing, savory pastry, and you're right, they are delicious.
Well, they have like ham and cheese on a croissant and stuff like that back there, and so good, especially when it's like really early in the morning and you need something to like hold you over to like a late lunch or dinner. This is my go-to. So we jumped ahead a little bit, but I could not come in this pavilion without mentioning that.
Yeah, for sure. It's, I think, the highlight of the dining options.
Absolutely, and especially because it opens so early. But first thing that we had on here technically was the Impressions de France, the Circle Vision film, which now also has the Beauty and the Beast sing-along in it.
It's so odd to me that you would have such contrasting attractions in the same exact spot, because like I get what Impressions de France is supposed to be, and it's very nice and relaxing, but it's might be the most like boring, put you to sleep thing that you can do at Disney. And then you also have a sing-along there. It seems very, very odd to me.
It's just the thing that gets me about this is that like it's such a weird get for here, because this is the only place that has a Circle Vision theater that's got a Disney movie playing in it. I don't know. Especially because they were talking about like updating the Circle Vision tech and all that, but I'm not going to get on that high horse of characters in Epcot. So
the ship has sailed.
Yeah, it's long been dead. But do we have any thoughts about Impressions de France either?
I
know Brian said put you to sleep, so not strong.
Is Brian the only one that's seen it?
I've seen it. I don't really.
I have not.
It's by far my least favorite of the Circle Vision films.
The Circle Vision films are very hit or miss for me, I think. Like,
I don't know. This just it feels like going to a stuffy art gallery, and I don't know. It's like I walk in there and I'm watching this and it's like I feel underdressed. Like, I don't know. It's just kind of like, you know, like, oh, Canada is so like funny and everything, and then the China Circle Vision is like, it's very interesting, and like you get to see like how like diverse the different areas of China are, as far as like, you know, the big cities to the countryside and everything. But I don't know, like France's is just, I don't know. It just feels like it's like this stuffy, like, I don't know. Look how cool France is, but I don't know. It just doesn't come across as entertaining to me.
Now let me ask you something. Since you said that China's is interesting, how do you rank this against O Canada featuring Martin Short?
Oh, I mean, O Canada is by far my favorite.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, I thought you were in it for like the educational factor. I'm sitting here like, yeah, but
No, I mean, I
yeah,
do like that, you know, that each of these has the educational factor. But yes, Martin Short makes O Canada better because this educational stuff is still there, but it's funny at the same time.
yeah. I guess I can see that. I don't know. Like I said, Circle Vision films to me are so hit or miss that like, to me, the real attraction in World Showcase is the actual pavilions themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I can think of so many Disney attractions that I don't have on my like to-do list when I go there. Like it's not a priority for me. It's kind of like a maybe I'll slip in here, maybe I won't kind of thing. And that's what most of the Circle Visions end up being for me. Like if I see them once every 3 or 4 years, like that's a good time span. So next thing we have on here is the Chefs de France table service restaurant, which is the casual French cafe. I have not eaten here.
It's casual, but it's still table service.
I mean, when you have...
Let's just make that clear.
Well, when you have Monsieur Paul, like, right next door.
It's like, it's the fine dining versus the quote-unquote casual. I've never had either, so I can't speak to the experience, unfortunately.
So, well, that's a
all right.
good
Well, good talk.
review about that.
I haven't eaten at any of the restaurants in France, so this whole next section is just not Brian.
Well, my whole thing is I try not to eat, like if I do lunch somewhere, I try not to do dinner in the same pavilion. And the fact that I always eat breakfast in France has put me off from eating anything else in here, and I feel like that's wrong. Like I feel like I shouldn't limit that because there are some options in here. But then I look at the prices of some of these things and I'm like, I'm good with breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. What about the wine, beer, and slushy kiosk?
Okay, now I have been there.
I've had a couple of things there. See, we're not table service people on this podcast.
But we are kiosk people.
We're very much kiosk people. But yeah, they have some good options here. They like the Grey Goose slushy is good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's where this is?
They had a Grand Marnier pop one time. Like I was, I don't know, alcoholic popsicle thing. But I think that might have been not at this particular kiosk, just at a kiosk in France. But it was also good. Maybe for like Flower and Garden or Food and Wine.
We've already decided that we have not been to Monsieur Paul, which I guess we can kind of talk about that, but we have no experience there.
No, but I have had the ice cream at the ice cream place. So there's that. Another not a sit-down thing that I've done in France. They had a...
Hey, we might actually get through it tonight if we don't talk about any of this stuff.
Yeah, I think
They have a macaron ice cream sandwich, though. Amazing.
That sounds pretty good, actually.
Very delicious.
The thing about this to remember, I know I'm kind of like the only person that does Disney dining plan on this podcast, but the thing of it to remember with this one is this is signature dining, so it is going to be 2 table service credits, which I have said time and time again, if something is 2 table service credits, it's not worth it. Don't do it.
Even
I'm sure
be our guest?
Oh, eat
your
we'll
words.
post-show that. We'll post-show that because I have a lot of feelings about that, and we have to finish this.
All right.
I think I talked about that, but we'll recap. Now that said, this does sound good, and like the prices are a little up there. The most expensive thing on their main courses is the black sea bass, and that's $46. But that's just their main course. It's not like including anything else. It's not horrible Disney prices, but
$46.
That's not for Disney food prices. That's not horrible for like a signature dining.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
I mean, if you go to their prefix menu Prestige, it's $89 for an adult.
Okay.
And then if
well,
you go
that does put things into perspective.
And then if you go the next step up, it's $119.
Okay. My bad. I take it back. I'll take the $49 sea bass.
Signature dining just is very expensive. That's the only thing that you have to know about signature dining. There's a reason it ends up being 2 table service credits. And we also have the ice cream shop as well. That is the last like food place to talk about on our France tour. And crickets.
Yeah, no, I said my piece.
Oh, right.
But yes, I would definitely recommend it. They have lots of different ice creams. Even just go inside and smell it. It smells great.
And then the final thing to talk about in here, before we move out of France, is that the Belle meet and greet is here. This is where you can meet her in her blue dress. If you are interested in, character photos.
Do they still do Marie from the Aristocats?
I have not seen her there in a while, but that's very possible. I thought she was... I don't know, that would make sense that she would be over here.
Because I've definitely met her right in front of the pavilion before, but I didn't know if they still did it.
Let me see.
Oh, what about the Streetmosphere guy that stands on chairs?
Oh, yeah.
We got to talk about him, right?
Oh my gosh, have not seen him in a very long time.
He's crazy, man. He stacks like 10 chairs and then goes and stands on top of them.
It's pretty impressive.
You know what else I'm realizing while I'm thinking about this pavilion? We didn't talk about the shop, and there's probably a really good reason that we didn't talk about the shop. This is like the most kitschy, touristy like shop you could find here, I think. Because they have all the little mini paperweight Eiffel Towers, and then it's all Aristocats and Beauty and the Beast. But
honestly, don't even remember ever going in the shop. I'm sure I have.
So you definitely have, especially if you've gone into the bakery, because it's connected to the bakery.
Okay, yes, I do know what you're talking about then.
Yeah, and it's like the exit of Impressions de France. It's like right in the middle of them in that building in the back.
Yeah, it's what I would imagine the people to sell American tourists when they're actually visiting France.
Oh yeah, that's absolutely it. And the
so
funny
I guess
thing
it's
is,
authentic
it's
in that sense.
Well, the funny thing to me is that it's not like I was saying, it has the Aristocats and the Beauty and the Beast merchandise, but it's not like the merchandise that you would find in most of the other stores in like the Disney parks. It's like the artistic versions of them.
It's like the couture version of Minnie Mouse on a t-shirt with a phrase in like "Je t'aime Paris."
There's this one shirt that showed up when I was looking at a picture of the store, and it's got Marie on it, and it's got Marie, the Eiffel Tower, it says Epcot World Showcase, and then a little thought bubble, it says "Spoil me in Paris."
Oh my gosh. That's a mood though. That's funny.
Apparently that's on everything. Oh, all right.
I can get down. I can get down with that. That's my spirit animal now. Spoil me in Paris.
Pavilion.
Oh, so one last thing before we leave France, I have my fun fact, which is that the Epcot Eiffel Tower pretty obviously uses forced perspective, and in order to stop birds from landing on it, which would ruin the forced perspective, Disney sprays this chemical methyl anthranilate on it, which is actually a flavoring that's used in grape sodas and other artificially flavored grape sweets, candies, and such. And apparently birds will not go near this stuff. So it's a nice kind of non-toxic way to keep birds off of the Eiffel Tower.
That's interesting.
It's also a life lesson if you were having a bird problem at your house. Just put some grape soda out there or something.
Just spray grape soda all over.
That
Right.
sounds like something a crazy person would do. Like if you walked out to your neighbor, like spraying grape soda all over their lawn.
I learned it at Disney, okay?
Oh, goodness.
I'd love to see that. It's like a spray bottle full of grape soda.
I had this thought, and I don't know why I thought of it, but we didn't talk about the fact that you can see the Tower of Terror from the Morocco Pavilion.
Oh, yeah.
We totally missed that, and I don't know how we missed that, and my train of thought just derailed me. But fun fact, we're going back to the Morocco Pavilion for a moment. You can see the Tower of Terror from the Morocco Pavilion, and it's painted so that it blends in with the actual like buildings and design of the pavilion. So there we go. Now no one can yell at us for missing that. But moving back through France and then onward, we have the International Gateway, which would be the entrance that you would take if you were coming in from like the Boardwalk, Yacht and Beach Club, Swan and Dolphin, all the Epcot area resorts, and Hollywood Studios. This is also the Friendship Boat dock is here, and then the Skyliner station is here as well.
Yeah, if you do stay at one of the resorts, mentioned, it is so convenient getting to walk in over here. I feel like it's going to become a little less convenient with the Skyliner, being this is the main entrance for the Skyliner now, but it's still very, very nice.
I think it will be not as bad as the front gate entrance was.
Definitely not.
Because, yeah, like there's probably about 4 turnstiles, if I remember correctly here. So you get to go through the turnstiles and go right into the World Showcase. This was always kind of my preferred method to get into Epcot, just because it was less crowded. I think, like you said, it'll probably kind of eat some of that now that the Skyliner's there, but I don't think it'll ever get anywhere near as bad as the front gate. There's also a little shop here as well if you need sunglasses or anything and forgot them back at the room. Fun fact. Then moving on, that'll put us into the United Kingdom Pavilion. This is another one of my favorites. I really like the pavilion.
So good.
Me too.
I think the thing about this one is kind of the same as Morocco for the most part, except there's a lot more to do in here. This is a very atmospheric pavilion. But the first thing that we would hit would be the Yorkshire County Fish Shop.
Oh my gosh, this place is so good.
Definitely on your list of places that you've been to.
Oh, definitely. It's such an convenient little snack to grab. I shouldn't say snack, it's a full meal, but it's very convenient to just kind of go up to the stand. Everybody's getting fish and chips, they're just pumping out fish and chips. So yeah, as I go around and enter the pavilion, that's the first thing I see and smell, and it's I gotta stop talking about food right now.
Brian's gonna leave us and go make.
You're just gonna hear me snacking on something over here in a minute.
I don't think I've ever done this, but it always smells really good. Like you said, you can walk by it; they're just pumping out fish and chips. So
It's really, really good.
Yeah, I've never had the fish, but the chips are the bomb.
I also did not realize how small this building was until I'm looking at it like on Google Maps right now. It's really tiny, but they move quick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they do.
So let's see what's next on our list of stuff. We have the tea store and tea garden, which gives out free samples of Twining's tea.
I love tea, especially Twining's tea. I did the tea garden tour one time at Flower and Garden, which is free. The basic one is free. You can pay. There's like a really special one you can pay for, but you gotta go sign up early, and they take you around and they tell you all about the history of tea and the different types of tea and blah blah blah. And it's really cool, especially as someone that enjoys tea like I do. And I would highly recommend this one Twining's tea called Buttermint, which I don't know if the cast member at the time was telling the truth, and it has just expanded since then. But at one point, this was the only place you could actually purchase this type of Twining's tea in store, was at the Epcot pavilion. Now you can get it at like a Kroger, so it's not quite as special, but it is like the most delicious tea ever. It tastes like those little dinner mints, you know, those like melty, sweet dinner mints. It's really, really good. So if you want to give that a try, honestly, you can pay like half price at Kroger and just pretend that you're at Epcot. But that's where I first tried it and fell in love with it. So I associate it very strongly.
That I've always wanted to do the tea tour, but I have not. Like I always forget to do it. Sounds interesting though.
It's super fun. It was on one of like a trip where I was like doing a lot of solo time at the parks. And so I was like, I'm going to do all the things that I've wanted to do and no one would do it with me. And so I did it. And it was totally worth it.
Hey, worth it. If you can do it, do it.
Yeah.
And like you said, free is always good. The next thing we have on here is the Rose and Crown pub with the pianist.
Yes. This is one of my favorite spots. I love and hate this
so much.
I love Rose and Crown. I know it's authentic, but it's such a tight space.
It is. It is such a pain trying to get through here and get a drink.
The worst part is, like, I do really love this pavilion just because it feels like that's how it's supposed to be, but, like, man, the crowds are just too high for that tight of a space.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I actually went to the Rose and Crown pub with a friend that is British, and he said that it was like spot on, like authenticity, like exactly like you would see in the UK. So like you said, really cool for authenticity, not so great for crowd factor.
Yep.
But the pianist is really good. She's super entertaining. And if you can get there on a day where it's not super crowded, like I have actually had the pleasure of happening to be there. Actually, I think it was the same trip that I did the tea garden tour, where I was just decided to go grab a drink there, and it was just like shockingly not crowded. So I grabbed my drink and I grabbed some chips and I sat down at a table and just listened to her play, and it was really, really pleasant. So if you can get lucky enough to do that, definitely do.
Yeah. And definitely if you're here and you are getting a drink, I know I've said this a couple times, try not to do the safe bets. Their pub blends are so good. Those are usually what I end up gravitating more towards. Oh, there's a Joffrey's coffee here.
Excellent.
Then we have a lot of meet and greets. We've got the Alice meet and greet, who is in the garden. Is that correct?
It's like she's like right in front of the little house in front of the garden.
Yeah.
That one's really, I've never done it, but it's really fun to watch. She is great as a character.
I love. We're gonna blend this one and the Mary Poppins one because they're in the same area, but I love the backdrop that they have set for this because it's a lot of the World Showcase ones are great because they're very like I like to say non-destructive to the pavilion, just because they don't have any specific backdrops. They can kind of, if they want to, put them in and out, and it doesn't take anything away from that experience. And I really, really enjoy that. I think it's perfect and it fits really well with those characters. But again, not one I've actually done. And speaking of Mary Poppins, we also have Cherry Tree Lane coming soon. It's exciting.
Yeah, I think that'll be cool.
I'm interested to see how that'll all turn out.
That's one that I'm like, when they announced it, I was kind of like, okay, what are they going to do? And the more I'm thinking about it, I'm like, okay, that kind of fits. I can see it. It's going to be cool. And then the last meet and greet that we have on here is the Tigger and Pooh meet and greet in the toy store at the little shop in the back. They recently reopened this one. I think this one, even though I just said I like the non-destructive character meet and greets, I think this one's really good too, just because it is the perfect like backdrop. You're in Christopher Robin's room.
Toys in a toy store. It's appropriate.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I really like this one. And then we also have the British Revolution rock band that plays in the back of the garden.
I feel kind of bad that they get like stuck in that back corner, but it is a pretty cool show.
It's cool that they have a space for them. Like I liked when they had the Streetmosphere, like not even the Streetmosphere, but the performance spaces for them. But this one's very out of the way and like in a very odd spot. It's good if they had a large crowd, but they usually don't. So, we are coming in hot on this last one. Almost an hour.
Let's save it till next week.
Oh my god!
I don't think I can talk about this one. I do not think I can talk about this one for an hour. I am done
with World Showcase for a long time.
Just think, we did a month's worth of content for World Showcase. There were 4 episodes on World Showcase.
Remember when we thought we were going to do this in one episode?
Oh my god, what a joke.
I don't know.
It's okay, so we're wrapping it up now. It's the final countdown.
Last thing we have on here is the Canada Pavilion, my least favorite pavilion.
Really?
No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding.
To say, man, I love this.
I was about to say, America?
Canada and America are very closely tied just because there's not a lot to do in the Canada Pavilion.
There's not, but the difference is the Canada Pavilion has a really great atmosphere.
The difference is we don't live in Canada.
True.
That might be it.
Both facts.
I do have to say, I like the mini Niagara Falls that's here, which would be our first point on this this tour. I think that's really cool. I think it's neat that they have that.
It's also one of the places that you can get married at.
Yes, if you wanted to get married in front of a fake Niagara Falls.
Why go to the real one when you can go to the fake one, right?
On the opposite side of the... But yeah, I think that you're right. This is a lot more atmospheric than the American Adventure Pavilion. And I don't give it as much credit as it probably deserves. So did you want to do your fun fact, Beth? You've got one.
Oh, yes. So one cool thing that I learned when I was doing a little research about this pavilion is that obviously there's those nice prominent totem poles that sit at the entrance to the pavilion, and that they were actually carved by a master craftsman named David Boxley, who is, I'm going to totally butcher this, Tsimshian, which is the indigenous people who inhabit British Columbia and southern Alaska. So he actually, when he was first carving them, he was on like display, so guests walking by could look on as he sculpted them. So I thought that was really cool. authentic touch that they added. And they actually, each of the totem poles has a story. And it goes along something along the lines of a boy finds an eagle tangled in a net and sets it free. And then years later, he's rewarded for his kind act when his tribe suffers a food shortage. And the eagle comes and finds him in the same spot and has supplies for his tribe in tow. And then there's a whale totem that is representative of the first gift-giving feast between one of the clans that lived on the coast of British Columbia and the nautical species that inhabit the surrounding waters.
That's
So
cool.
I had no idea that they actually tried, were trying to tell a little story there until I looked it up.
Yeah, that's an interesting little bit of information that I probably would not have known unless you looked it up.
Yeah, for sure.
But the next thing on our list of stuff here is the O Canada Circle Vision film featuring Martin Short.
So good.
Circle Vision movies don't really do it for me. I don't know what it is. I appreciate the technology that goes into them, and I appreciate them as like an art form. That's pretty much it.
I need to just bite the bullet and actually go watch them one day.
Just don't start with Impressions de France.
Or
Don't start
me
with
out.
it? Shouldn't I start
Start
with the
there.
worst one?
yes, start there. Let your expectations be very low, and go up.
So, France, China, Canada, in that order?
Yeah.
I'd say that's probably a good order.
Okay.
I mean, you definitely ending with like the best movie of all of them because O Canada's actually like funny. You're getting the boring stuff out of the way and then going there. China's is okay. Like I like that one enough, but I don't know. It's like I said, it's not a every time kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And then the last thing we have on our tour of World Showcase is Le Cellier Steakhouse.
I have never had the pleasure of eating here.
I, again, cannot bite the bullet on this one.
No, this is definitely a bucket list place, but man, it is not cheap.
No. This is, again, also signature dining, so 2 table service credits if you're on the dining plan, which is a large majority of the reason I have not eaten here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh gosh. Brunch for the table is $67 per person.
Ouch.
Yeah. And
How much?
under that, it says brunch. I don't know. This is what's going to kill it even more. I don't know how this works because. Oh, okay. No. There's a lot of food involved here.
There better be.
makes it better. So what was confusing is the way that the menu is laid out. It says for the table, $67 per person. And then it says under that like little blue bar on the menu, it says assorted breakfast, pastries, mixed fruit, maple yogurt, and granola. And then there's another blue bar that says appetizers. And I was like, oh, is that all you get in the $67? But no, you get to choose an appetizer, which they have cheddar cheese soup, steak and eggs, avocado toast, and everything bagel with deviled eggs. And then your entrees, you have Montreal spiced corned beef hash, cinnamon roll, French toast, bread pudding. Oh, that sounds really good. And then eggs Benedict, and then you get a choice of 1 dessert. So that's not.
It's a bougie brunch.
I was gonna say it's not worth $67, but that's a good amount of food.
I was about to say, do they have bottomless mimosas like brunch spots in my town? Because if not, I'm not interested.
Is it brunch without bottomless mimosas?
That's
though?
what I'm saying. Is it? It's not.
I don't think so. It doesn't say that on here. So, But for dinner,
Blasphemy.
let's look at the dinner menu and see how much.
I
Oh.
have heard that the cheddar cheese soup is like the thing to get though. I don't know if I think they sell it at the kiosk, one of the kiosks at one of the festivals. That's like pretty much the same. but
I'm pretty sure that they do. I'm pretty sure I've seen the cheese soup somewhere on one of the festivals. It might have been Flower and Garden, maybe.
They're just like, here, peasants, you can have some of our stuff.
right. We know you can't afford to join us in real life, so you can join us at the kiosk.
All right, guys. Speaking of peasants, looking at the dinner menu.
Oh, God.
Highest price item on here. Who wants to take a guess?
Oh, no. Can you tell us what it is, and then I'll guess? Or should I guess first?
All right, I have two. I have one that is a solo person meal, which isn't... I was about to say it's not as bad, but it's pretty bad. And then there's a two-person meal. So the two-person meal is more expensive. It is a bison strip loin for two. And then there's also the Le Cellier filet mignon, which is a single person's meal.
Boy.
Well, if brunch was $67, I don't even want to know.
I would think the filet mignon has to be over $150.
Oh, okay. So you're highballing it big time because
Really?
the filet mignon is only $60.
Wow,
Which that's still really expensive, but that's not bad for, like...
That's pretty standard for a filet mignon, is it not?
I would think so, yeah.
I mean,
wow,
I've never
that's
had
not
one,
nearly
so
as
I
bad
don't...
as I thought.
No, honestly, I think this menu is a little bit... It's more consistent, I'll say that. Like, the prime ribeye steak is $57. If you want to go cheaper, there's steamed Asian dumplings for $33.
Asian
which is also plant-based. Yes.
In Canada?
Yeah. So the
Sounds
steamed
sketchy.
Asian dumplings are actually a plant-based option, Beth. So it says plant-based meat dumplings, bok choy, Chinese long beans, red peppers, radish, and fragrant Asian broth.
I'm not saying it doesn't sound good. I'm just saying it doesn't belong here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know Canada food, so.
Yeah, I guess I don't either. So maybe they got a little Asian flair.
And the bison strip loin for two is $129, which that's for two people. That's not bad.
I was about to say, I think we got a little like out of proportion with the brunch being $67.
Yeah, we shouldn't have looked at that.
So somebody will have to go and let us know what they thought, or anybody listening, shoot us an email or a DM or something and let us know your amazing bougie experience at Le Cellier.
The funny thing is, like, after looking at their brunch, this looks a lot more, like, doable.
Yeah.
Their desserts sound really good, too. Now, I'm not going to read them because I don't want to make Brian even more hungry than he probably already has.
Thank you.
But,
Well, I want to know. Brian, close your ears.
okay, so now that Brian's gone, except he's not. Some of these they sound really good. Like there's one called the pumpkin patch. It's $12. It's pumpkin cheesecake, ginger cake, candy corn, and micro marshmallow. I don't know how that's served, but that sounded really good.
Ooh.
Wow,
It's cute though, isn't it?
It's very cute.
I love little desserts like that.
I definitely appreciate a good aesthetic when I'm getting served food. You know, that's what they say is you got to feed your eyes and then before you feed your stomach.
Yeah. And I don't know, all of these sound really good. I don't even know where to start. They have a warm pecan brownie or brown butter tart.
Did you say pecan?
Yeah.
That's exciting. You're from New Jersey.
I forgot that we have this whole regional thing.
Oh my gosh. That warms my heart.
I don't do the hard A stuff.
Pecan.
Oh. But that sounds really good. They have a chocolate mousse maple leaf.
I bet that's cute too.
It's $12. You can stay.
I bet it's cute though. Just because it's expensive doesn't mean it can't be cute.
Here, I'll send you a picture of it. I have a picture of it. All right, this is definitely like moved up a little bit on my achievableness of bucket list stuff. Their desserts are pretty expensive though.
What is that thing over on the right?
I don't know. It kind of looks like a pretzel.
It's like a seesaw. It's not as cute as the pumpkin patch, but I would still eat it. No joke.
Yeah. So let's wrap up this the Canada Pavilion, and
I think before we leave, I think we have to make mention of the garden here because it's very, very beautiful. And garden? I guess no one else feels that way.
I don't even know what garden.
I don't know what garden.
The garden on the right side, really?
Oh man.
Honestly, I'm going through Google Maps right now, still trying to find this garden.
The problem with me, and here's my problem with me and Canada's relationship, is that it's either at the very beginning of my world tour, and I just am breezing on past it, or it's at the very end of my world tour, and I've had too many drinks to notice a garden. So I'm unfamiliar.
Like at the front of the pavilion.
Are you talking about like when you come in from
like if you take the path that goes through Niagara Falls, like if you start on the left side and go through, you come out through the garden area.
Okay, yes, I know what you're talking about. The one that is like right by, it's got the little pond and it's where the sign for Le Cellier is.
Yeah.
It's got like...
Okay. It's near the Kidcot Fun Station.
Is that really going to help you figure out, like, you don't know where the garden is, but you know where the Kidcot Station is?
Yes, those are great places to rest when you need to. And I definitely have taken a nap at that particular one before.
I honestly was not thinking that, because looking at it now, like I know where this is, and yes, it is. That is what you're talking about, Beth, because there's a big sign that says Le Cellier Steakhouse, and then there's a little tiny sign that says Kidcot with a little arrow.
Okay, see, so I do know what I'm talking about sometimes.
But I was not thinking about this garden because like there are definitely other gardens in World Showcase that we haven't talked about.
But I think Canada's is the best.
Debatable, but okay. No, I do agree. I like this because it is kind of like a little quiet area in the pavilion, even though it's right up front. I think this is a nice little spot. It does kind of get overlooked for the Niagara Falls thing and then like the entrance to everywhere else in this pavilion. You know, I will say, and you guys are probably going to laugh at me for this, but the one thing that I really don't like about this pavilion is the like to get up to the gift shop, there's big steps that are there. I don't know why, but I always feel like I've ran a marathon after I go up those steps.
It is a pretty good strenuous activity.
And it's like, I mean, I guess there's probably a reason for it, but they're just like so weirdly put because everything else is lifted up in that pavilion besides like Le Cellier and the bottom half of the Niagara Falls thing. Oh, and I do know that this store also sells maple syrup, so fun little Canadian souvenir if you want to go in here and buy something.
There you go.
So, now that we've talked about all of the pavilions and we're done. We're done.
We made it.
We've made it out before Christmas.
World tour.
Really thought we weren't going to.
I do have a fun fact to add kind of on that note, is that now it took us, 4 weeks to get through the 11 pavilions that are there. But did you guys know that there is space for 18 pavilions in total at Epcot? So imagine if they expand how long it's going to take us to do all those.
Oh, God.
Our World Showcase is home to 11 pavilions, but there's always room for 7 more. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
Any volunteers?
Brazil when? Oh. So, is there anything that you guys feel like we may have missed on this, like that you thought about?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
I want to put this to
Let
bed,
it die.
I want to put this to bed, like, in a good way, so we're not, like, 3 weeks down the line going, oh, shoot, remember that World Showcase show? I forgot to mention this, because I know that's going to happen.
Yeah, no, I think I'm good.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty good on that, too.
Thanks for joining us on our very, very long World Showcase tour.
Yeah, this was definitely something. Remember when we did these, like, in-depth tours and we would, like, break them up land by land in Magic Kingdom and try to do, like, one episode on a land? This was worse than that.
This felt like it took a lot longer for some reason.
It's because we didn't take a break.
Yeah, that's true. We did have, like, other stuff in between when we did the in-depth tours.
Yeah, we kind of just ran through this and we were like, we're going to get done.
Yeah.
Then that's going to do it for us this week. Thanks for joining us again on another episode of the Station 71 podcast. If you like what you heard, be sure to subscribe to us on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts from. If you want to keep in touch with us, you can find us online at facebook.com/Station71pod, Twitter at Station71pod, Instagram at Station71podcast, and in our Discord at bit.ly/S71chat. As always, links to our social media and all of our show notes can be found on our website at station71podcast.com. Hope you enjoyed your ride, and we'll see you real soon.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.